What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Streckbein, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just when they thought I was out, they pulled me right back in. This time it's Gabe Davis, who we talked yesterday about extensively, probably going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers' next wide receiver signing. Well, we woke up this morning to the news of Jerry Dulac saying, hold your horses, pal, because there's another Buffalo in the ring here. The rodeo is just getting started. Gabe Davis has another meeting. The competition grows, and we're diving into why the Pittsburgh Steelers' chances of signing the former Jacksonville Jaguars wideout are slim to none right now, although not zero. Meanwhile, Cam Heyward returns to practice. End of the holdout. We'll dive into it. Some good news on injuries and some updates from Mike Tomlin on who will play in the preseason finale on Thursday night. It's a good one here in the Berg. Pittsburgh Steelers have been rocking, have been rolling, and the craziness continues. How you feeling, my friend?
Whiplashed, man. Feeling like I'm being tossed and turned all over, being pulled in every which way, every different direction at the same time. It's exciting, you know. It's the best sort of way to be so scattered right now. I'd never want to be scattered about something else besides the pandemonium that is the final days of preseason and the NFL regular season coming upon us here. So come on, man. I'm doing all right. Craziness, more pandemonium as per usual.
Always.
What else can I say?
Nothing. It never ends. It never ends, especially with the city of Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The black and gold again just yesterday was happening. Gabe Davis was coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what was happening. Things were good. He showed up, went through a physical. From everything I've heard, the Steelers had injury concerns. Those injury concerns were significantly less prior to the meeting. I don't know exactly how the meeting went, but I heard that the injury concerns dampened quite a bit or lessened quite a bit before he got here, saying, you know, he just needed a little bit more time before we were satisfied with bringing him in this current moment. Well, then Jerry Dulac says 24 hours after the Pittsburgh Steelers meet with Gabe Davis, he will be in Buffalo meeting with his former team, the Bills. Don't know what's going on. From my understanding, this guy, and I could be totally off base here, okay? From my understanding, he's not even staying a night in Pittsburgh. He's going right from Pittsburgh to Buffalo, and then the next day will visit the Bills. I mean, it's pretty clear. You could see the writing on the wall here. If it was any other team, literally any other team, you could say there's a fighting chance for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have an opening. It's there. Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, DK Metcalf. I mean, it's hard to deny the stardom, the pull from the wave of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, the only team that beats it, and I'm talking tidal wave crashes this thing into oblivion, is the Buffalo Bills, because not only are they a good football team and the team that was just fighting to play in the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles, but ultimately lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, but their quarterback, while the Steelers can say, oh, we have 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who looks great, is coming in here. Everybody's praising him. He's Aaron Rodgers. So while on the outside, people will say that doesn't mean anything, on the inside, it means a lot. Trust me. Josh Allen's the reigning MVP of the entire National Football League, holds the standard over them all. I feel like the Steelers' chances are slim to none that they are going to land Gabe Davis, which is wild, the turn of events. I mean, we recorded the show yesterday, okay? And then recorded another intro just in case he signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers before the show went out. Today we're sitting here going, yeah, probably not going to happen unless you feel different. But I firmly saw the Jerry Dulac tweet and said, oh, it was fun. It was a good time. Now we're on to options B, C, D, E, F, and whatever's next for the black and gold.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with you. I think the chances have dramatically lessened that Gabe Davis is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah.
And if it was just some sort of matter of logistics, like if he was meeting with like the Cleveland Browns, for example, or like some other team that's like well within the driving vicinity of Pittsburgh, like then I'd be like, all right, maybe we don't have to read too much into like these travel plans, these different visits happening. But Gabe Davis is very, very familiar with the Buffalo Bills. He's very good friends with Josh Allen. Josh Allen loved having him on the team. He spoke recently about, how excited he was that Gabe Davis was going to be in the facilities again for a visit. Nah, I hate to say it, but as confident as I was 24 hours ago that, all the signs were pointing towards Gabe Davis becoming wide receiver 2, now all the signs are pointing in a completely opposite direction. So I think we're at like 10% chance that Gabe Davis lands in the black and gold. And I think that leaves, if my math is correct, 90% chance he's a Buffalo Bill for the 2025 season. So how things have turned, again, I'm amazed that my neck is even upright and solid with how the past 24 hours here.
That's I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. It is it's about a 10% chance. I'd give it about the same, if that. You know what I mean? Like the meeting with Pittsburgh would have to be so crazy, but let's look at it realistically. Adam Schefter was given the information from the agent to say, hey, Gabe Davis is coming to town. Okay, awesome. I heard for weeks Gabe Davis and the Pittsburgh Steelers were probably going to be it. That's probably going to be the name that ends up in Pittsburgh, and it was like, yeah, okay, great. But at the same time, they're calling the Washington Commanders, Odell Beckham Jr. I'm hearing crazy little nonsense whispers of, oh, well, Tyreek Hill's name's going to be out there and it's going to grow a little bit larger. And you're going, yeah, all right, I doubt it. But, we'll toss it to the public and see what happens. And Gabe Davis remained it. But now it just looks like they got the information so that Buffalo's urgency, maybe contract offer, got a little bit bigger than what it was originally going to be. But you said just before the show, Josh Allen said already, I'm excited to see Gabe Davis. And I can tell you right now, Gabe Davis is very excited to see the guy that he caught 27 touchdown passes from over a 4-year span. I have a hard time thinking he's going to end up in Pittsburgh. Where do they go next? Do they go back to the trade board? Do you give up? Is it Odell Beckham Jr. time? Is it Amari Cooper time? Is it you just trust the process time? Where do the Steelers go from here?
This is where, I would have pivoted very starkly and immediately to call up your opponent from last week in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But unfortunately, the latest updates on my favorite target, Jalen McMillan, is he's going to be out maybe until week 9, I think, if I saw that correctly. So, that stinks. Very unfortunate injury. I would have loved to have seen them go back to the well as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I think the options are running dangerously thin.
Yes.
Which brings me back to my previous the grandstanding I was doing for just riding with what you have. If you're not going to add Gabe Davis, I see no reason to bring in Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham Jr. Like the list goes on. If these whispers, these fun little talks of Tyreek Hill materialize into him actually coming here in a favorable financial way, then sure, that's fine. If Omar Khan can make all the details work, but other than that, and other than some other strong wide receiver too that I'm neglecting to think of in this moment, I think you just got to ride with what you have once Gabe Davis signs that contract with the Buffalo Bills, like I anticipate he will now.
Oh, it is so wild to me.
So wild
that we have gone a full summer. Okay. And you could go back to the day before the end of minicamp. I think the end of minicamp, we were sitting here talking about what are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to do with their wide receiver 2 position. And you were the only one in the world saying they're not going to do anything, that this is it. And we have gone up, down, left, right, bottom, upside down, doesn't matter. And we may end up in that exact scenario of they're not going to do a thing, not off of effort, off of this is year 2 of they have run out of options. Do you blame the Steelers? I think that's an unspoken question here. We could take guesses all day about where the Steelers are going to go a wide receiver, but I think you're right. I think they're running out of options, and I think at some point you just give in, and say, we tried, man. It was a good attempt. We didn't get anybody. Do you fault them? Do you fault them for not getting a wide receiver for a second time.
Yes. And I think last year I felt like I was easy to forgive than not acquiring Brandon Ayuk. You had so many other questions and other priorities that felt just as important, or if not more important, than addressing that wide receiver position. So, okay. Now I think they have made it so clear with all of their other roster moves, everything the coaches are saying, everything Omar Khan has said, everything Andy Whitehouse said to us, last week at the joint practice. Like, this team is all in. I do not understand how you can look at that offensive unit, look at the wide receiver 2 position, if nothing changes, and say this isn't a Super Bowl contending, winning Super Bowl possibility of a wide receiver group. I just don't think that's like a very real thing that you can give, a very real evaluation that you can slap onto this wide receiver group.
Yeah.
I just don't get it at all. And I think I have to fault the Steelers. I have to fault Omar Khan, who I'm a big fan of his work, a champion of his work. But I think the failure to fully address every need whenever it is so clearly stated that the goal is to make this a Super Bowl roster, the failure of that, I think, must be stated and, owned up to at some point. I'm not sure if it solely falls on Omar Khan, but I think someone's got to own up to that failure at some point.
I agree. I think they have 7 days where guys will get cut. We are now entering the stage, and I've made it clear from the beginning, don't add anybody until August. You know what I mean? You're gonna jump the gun if you add somebody before August, unless it's somebody that you can't go wrong with. It's August. It's almost the end of August. They have about a week to figure it out, to say, this is a guy that we knew was probably going to get released, that is now released. Now we're going to add. If that happens, there is no fault. The Steelers did it. Good for them. If it does not happen, I agree with you. You look at it and just say, I don't know where you went wrong. I don't know what you missed. I don't sit here, but all I do know is that Gabe Davis, you had to know from the jump that he was going to Buffalo after Pittsburgh. There's no chance you didn't know that before. There's a 0% chance that his agent was like, oh, let's keep it a secret. Let's hide that we're going to another team. No, that's not what they do. Like, they don't say, oh, the contract offers actually get better when there's no competition. That's not what they do. That you had to have known he was going to Buffalo. If John Mechie was the only option you had, I had no problem with it 48 hours ago. Today, I'm sitting here going, if you end up with nothing, John Mechie was a plus. John Mechie was a miss. You missed on that one. And I don't know who else is out there. And that's why I give some grace here. We'll see what happens. But if you end up with nobody, you are sitting in a place where you're going, you better look good in the passing game. You know what I mean? This better not be Van Jefferson as your wide receiver 2 once again. It cannot be that, because if it is, and Aaron Rodgers is complaining about the passing game come week 3, and DK Metcalf's all fired up and he's just as angry as George Pickens was on the sideline, that's on Omar Khan. That he did everything else and for some reason continued to ignore the wide receiver core and thought that DK was fine. And again, I'm going to give him a grace period of a week. In that week, we're going to see what happens. But I do not have high hopes that anybody's going to end up in Pittsburgh. And I think it's going to be the same group that they have right now walking in, and they're going to hope Calvin Austin's fine and Roman Wilson's good and Scotty Miller's a stud. That's what they're going to hope for. And man, you are praying hard. You are praying real hard if that is the outcome. Let's I just don't. Go ahead. Finish.
No, closing thoughts is just that has to be the only front office team in the entire NFL that would look at that group of 5 and call it a Super Bowl contender. And I just that's where I'll leave it for today.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's transition here. And I hear you. I agree with you.
Appreciate it.
Cam Heyward. I got a text as it was going that somebody texted me and said, you want to go bowling? And the answer immediately is no. You're yes.
Oh, I was shaking my head. I'm like, yeah,
dude, I don't want to go bowling on a Wednesday. I mean, people got to sleep.
No, you're right. That's fair.
You're bowling on a Wednesday guy.
Sounds like my dogs are bowling up above us while we record.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And the dogs are this person and the dogs should go do, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Up the lanes.
Cam Heyward returned to practice yesterday, virtually ending the hold in that was there. And I don't know if it means that he's going to play week 1. I have no idea if it means that he just returned to practice. I don't know where we go to from here, but I'll ask you. You see Cam doing team drills. Mike Tomlin confirming that he's out there. Chris Boswell's been out there. It got real dramatic for like 2 weeks. He was on podcasts. People were on his podcast. Jalen Ramsey was preaching Omar Khan. Pay the man. We need him. Pay him. Mr. Omar, pay him. Cam's not participating at all. He's not even dressing. Feel like it got real drastic, real fast. He declined to talk to the media after practice, so don't really know what to say there. I think it wouldn't have worked in his favor if he did talk, so I think it was the smart move on his part. Is the holdout over? Is Cam Heyward officially back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, or do you think that this is just a roller coaster ride that we are riding for what may go into week 1?
I think I am keeping the seatbelt buckled on this ride until I see him with the starting 11 against the New York Jets on week 1, because I say that feeling confident that he is going to be out there. I don't think this is like him going out there and practicing yesterday was like a very big indication to me that he wants to be with the group and like maintaining that readiness, like he said, and like the Tomlin has maintained that they're not worried about the readiness, and as they should be. I think that is an indication to me that he's going to be with his teammates when the games are in action. But I mean, you took a stand, a very polarizing stand, let's call it. A lot of opinions came out regarding his decision to make that public and how things stand right now. It seems like he's not going to get that money. I think the decision has been made. If I'm making my big guess, I think behind closed doors, a decision has been reached, an agreement has been reached, or a decision was made. And so Cam is just probably going to keep doing his thing. We're going to ride this ride for the next 2.5 weeks or whatever until the first game. And then we'll see him in uniform. But I think the drama is only going to continue for those, 14 to 17 days until week 1 against the New York Jets.
I agree. I don't think Cam's getting his money. If anything, like a little bit of money, like maybe here's $1 million, go buy a coffee. You know what I mean? Like that type of money, but it's not going to be anything significant. It's not going to move the needle. It's not going to make Cam happy. It's going to be more of a showboat. Yeah, you know what? We did a good thing. Let's look fine. Let's end this nonsense, But I agree. I think Cam and the Pittsburgh Steelers and his agent have all come to an understanding that, like, the Steelers have basically told you, you're out of luck, pal. So you got decisions to make. At 36 years old, you could hold out and not play in your maybe second to last NFL season, or you could just get on the field and we'll figure it out from there. Figuring it out is not going to end with Cam getting paid more money. That's not going to be the case. But I do agree with you. I think that this is I don't want to say beginning of the end for the hold-in, but I think this is it. Like, this is what we're going to get. It's just like a little bit of Cam out there feeling okay. It kind of fades into the dark. Maybe they give him a little something before week 1, right when it'll be the same day. Cam, Chris Boswell, same day, contracts, get them out of the way so nobody's paying attention to numbers, and then we move on. But I 100% agree with you. I do not think that Cam Heyward and the Pittsburgh Steelers are closer on a deal. I think that Cam is starting to realize that the Steelers are being pretty stern and saying, sorry, dude, we're not giving you more money. It's just not happening. And luckily for the Steelers, to be honest, Cam is very okay with that. He's not okay with that, but he's okay. And there are a lot of people in the NFL that would say, yo, you could screw right off, pal. I'm good. I'm not playing. I've made a lot of money. I'm worth a lot of money. I've already made $13 million this year. Cam Heyward has been paid $13 million this season. Like, he doesn't have to do a thing. And there are a lot of guys that would say that. Cam is not one of them. And I got to give him credit where credit's due, because I don't know what it's like to negotiate for an extra $7 million. Okay. I have no idea what that world is like, but I can tell you right now, I'm not being cool with it when you tell me no. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, no, that's no big deal. I'm just going to keep playing. Like, no, it's $7 million. It's a lot of money. Okay. It's a lot of money. But that's Cam, man. That's Cam. And we will see what happens. On the good news, on the other side of this, Corey Trice, Alex Highsmith, Calvin Austin in various forms start working their way back. Calvin, the last 2 days, seems to be ramping up a little bit every day. Alex Highsmith participated yesterday, which is awesome. And Corey Trice was seen running on the side a little bit, which is also good. The Pittsburgh Steelers, are we going to luck out and they're going to be healthy by week 1? Like, is that suddenly going to happen and we don't have to worry about anything come week 1?
I fear the great jinx of saying yes, but things are trending in a very positive direction. And the Corey Trice update is probably the most encouraging to me. I anticipated Alex Highsmith, just sort of, regardless of what the severity of that groin injury was it groin or hamstring? Groin injury? Whatever the severity of it was, it felt like the Steelers were just like, hey, we're not risking it for the next couple of weeks here. Just get ready for week 1. And now it seems like we are right on track again for that to be the scenario and the case for Alex Highsmith. Love that. Corey Trice, this injury question, these lingering injury concerns regarding him, if they can go away before week 1, I am extremely encouraged. And for him to take that step, we got to see him in full pads, got to see him take those next steps in practice as well. But boy, oh boy, we talked about, recently about what the 53-man roster is going to look like. And Corey Trice really feels like the X factor in terms of the decision-making for the 53-man roster and how effective the depth of it can be. So, I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to say, yes, everyone's good to go 100%. This is going to be a totally different year injury-wise for the Steelers to start the season. But you have to be encouraged if you're the coaching staff by sort of the progress everyone is making day by day. So, things are looking very positive in that direction.
From the information I've gathered, the expectation is Alex is going to be fine. Calvin is on pace. We'll see what happens, but he's on pace. And Corey is a shot in the dark, but one that they're hopeful for come week 1. That is the information I've been given. Let's finish it off with preseason week 3. The finale will feature all but Aaron Rodgers, TJ Watt, DK Metcalf, and Cam Heyward. I would expect Alex Highsmith is not playing. Calvin Austin is not playing. Pretty much everybody else is going to go. Mm-hmm. The Carolina Panthers aren't starting anybody, which means, and Andy Dalton's hurt, which means that this is whoever the Carolina Panthers third string quarterback is versus the Steelers' number 1 defense outside of TJ Watt, Cam Heyward, and Alex Highsmith, and then an offense versus a bunch of guys that I can only name one player on the Carolina Panthers defense in general, and that is JC Horn. And besides that, there's nobody there. Maybe I'm off base here. Maybe I'm just a anti-preseason guy. Maybe it's the fact that I stopped using Bluetooth headphones and that the fact that I'm using stringed headphones, corded headphones, and Aaron Rodgers says that they shouldn't play in the preseason got me. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just that guy now. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a little ridiculous to send anybody out there in week 3 in Carolina and say, you want to know what is good that's going to come out of this? Anything at all, because I just don't think it's going to happen. We're going to get overhyped about a bunch of guys intercepting footballs from whoever the Carolina Panthers third string quarterback is. And Jaylen Warren bursting a 60-yard run against whoever the backup defensive tackles are in Carolina. It just, to me, is not progress. It is a risk versus reward that does not add up. Maybe I'm just over dramatic here. I tend to be over dramatic from time to time, but I just feel like that list should be significantly longer than it is. And I would play literally none of my starters in the third preseason game the moment Carolina said, oh, our starters aren't playing. Great. Neither are ours, because it means nothing. You could get the same work and the same game atmosphere by running a scrimmage at UPMC Rooney Sports Complex and saying, Logan Woodside, pal, have at it. Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, Joey Porter Jr., I'd like to introduce you to the quarterback that showed up 2 weeks ago. That's what I just think it's even. I just think that's what you're getting here. I want to be playing a soul.
You can't. Even if you are being dramatic, I'll just join you in this. Like the preseason to me it's very fun to talk about, and it's given us a ton of fun stuff. But
for sure,
I just really could not care less about preseason football, and it is so difficult for me to even fathom a reason why Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson,
Deshaun
Elliott, why any one of those, why Keanu Benton, Derek Harmon, any of these guys, why in the hell would any of them step foot onto the football field for a serious snap against the Carolina Panthers? It makes no sense. I think it is just the risk far outweighs the reward. There is nothing to be gained if Deshaun Elliott lays the boomstick on, some random guy. It probably just takes a hit away from him in the regular season in my eyes. I just don't see it. I don't see the value. I think I love Tomlin's gamesmanship that just consistently is there. Doesn't matter if it's preseason week 3, divisional round, Super Bowl. He's always about the gamesmanship, doesn't want to show his hands. I love it, whatever. But just come out and say, no starters are playing. Probably top 30 guys aren't playing. This is all about watching Max Hurlman take 100% of the snaps and just seeing what happens. And why should it be about anything else? I just don't get it.
Dude, I'd be using this preseason game to get as much value for DeMarvin Leal, Skylar Thompson, maybe Robert Woods, as I possibly can, to say, who can we trade in the next 6 days? Daryl Porter Jr. should be playing. If he's on the verge of making a roster, if Beanie Bishop is on the roster bubble, these guys should be playing nonstop in this game. Brandon Eccles shouldn't be on the field. Why? No. What are you getting out of this? I agree with you. I think the conversation is wild simply because it just doesn't benefit anybody. You're not getting live game reps. You're getting practice squad reps with a crowd. That is what you're getting. And it means that's what you're getting. It
perfectly described.
It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And you are not, if it was Bryce Young and company, there's a conversation to be had. Cool. Go test the waters. It's good environment. Awesome. But it's not. And because of that, you're just risking injury when there's no need to risk injury. And the Steelers have Nick Herbig should have been a warning sign last week. You know what I mean? There was no need for him to be on the field. Got hurt, and now you're going to send everybody else out there to see how many groins could get pulled. That just makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. But they'll do it, and we'll see what happens. All right, y'all. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. Please, please, please go to Apple Podcasts, hit that download all button, and give us a 5-star review. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. As always, shout out to our subscribers. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. We appreciate you guys as always. And we will be back tomorrow. Enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.